So we are looking forward to more to celebrate, and the next step is to celebrate the history of the bike rider Carl Fogarty.
We're being brought up around bikes. I think whatever you get brought up around as a kid, chances are you're going to want to do that as a hobby or a profession, as it turned out for me. So, yeah, all I ever knew I wanted to do was race bikes from a very early age. Yeah. I was pretty focused and motivated and sort of confident that I would win the TT. It took me 3 or 4 years to learn it, which it does kind of most people, really. It's a lot of laps around there to truly get sort of dialed into to know how fast you can go in a lot of the sections. But yeah, that was a special feeling winning my first TT. Yeah, it was good. But my career path took me to superbike, and I just ended up buying my own bike from the money I'd made, I guess, with Honda in the sort of early 90s, 91, 1990, and spent it on buying a Ducati, which you could buy. Ducati came as a race bike. At the second round at Donington Park, which is a real rider's circuit, I won against all the odds, against all the factory teams. I think I'm probably the last person ever to win as a privateer a world championship race. And that really kind of propelled me in front of the factories in the teams and stuff for Superbike in 93, and I signed my first contract then in 93 with the factory Ducati team, and I guess the rest is history, as they say, really. It was a bit of a battle all year, that year, 94, which ultimately led it down to the last race of the year, the other side of the world in Australia, when I was just a few points in the lead, and I knew what I had to do. And it was just a flood of tears and emotion. The relief of finally winning that first world title when I'd come close in 93 and should have won it in 93, but to finally do it in 94, the last race of the year, the other side of the world, all TV and stuff. And even Barry Sheen was there kind of trying to interview me, and I was pushing him out of the way, trying to get to my wife and just embrace her and stuff. It was, yeah, really emotional, a lot of relief for finally winning that world championship. The first one was special. Yeah. Barry Sheen said to me, he said, now you've won, there's only one way to go now, that's to be beaten. I went, I don't like the sound of that, I'm not going to be beaten. And yeah, so in 95, it was the second year of the new bike, really, the 916, and it was just a dream to ride the bike, it really was. And I just felt more at ease, more happier, more consistent. I don't know, it just seemed an easier year to retain the title than it did to win it. I'd won it with 2 rounds to go, I think. It was, yeah, it was a dream season. Superbikes became so big then, it really did. It just overnight, we went to Brands Hatch in 95, and 60,000 people turned up. And it was just, wow. I just remember opening the curtain of the motorhome at 8 o'clock on the Sunday morning, and the grandstand was full. I was like, whoa. And it was a red hot day. I'd never won a race of any kind at Brands Hatch, club level or anything. And yeah, I always say it was the most perfect day's racing I've ever had. I could just do anything in them races, and I won both races quite comfortably, and in front of like 60,000 people who'd never. The crowds had come back to racing since the days of Barry Sheen in the late 70s, with been no crowds throughout the 80s at all, had come to watch racing. And yeah, it was a great time. It was Cool Britannia and all that kind of stuff. It was it was good. It was all happening in the UK, really. Yeah, it felt good to be British.
Well, great story there from Carl. We're going to get ready for his arrival here in front of the house. And we've already got a really good crowd. And I believe some people, I haven't spoke to them earlier on, have travelled from far and wide to see Carl. Sir, I believe you've travelled quite a long way to get here.
Yeah, I've come from Alberta, Canada.
That's a little bit far.
I'm a big fan.
It doesn't sound like you're Canadian.
No, well, I am, but I'm originally a Brit, obviously. I used to watch Foggy back in the day. So, yeah, couldn't miss this.
And what's made you come over for this?
This, Foggy. Yeah.
Foggy's like more than a good racer, isn't he? He's obviously very fast, but what was his appeal for you in particular?
Because #1. It was only about being #1. I don't think he was good for the country, you know?
He certainly put motorbike racing back on the map, I feel, in those mid-90s.
Absolutely. And Ducati, put them on the map. Yeah. He's an icon.
Hence the T-shirt, eh?
Yeah, this is original, back from the day.
And you're here for him as well?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as we heard that he was going to be here, it was got to be here. I mean, we come to the Festival of Speed most years, weren't going to come this year, but Foggy's here, so got to come. Yeah.
Well, very impressive. Very impressive. I love the commitment. I love the travel. Yeah. We'll send it back up to the comms.
Thank you very much, David. Yeah, great to see the build-up to what will be a fantastic celebration, and the fact that Carl Fogarty will be heading up the hill so that everybody can get a chance to give him a cheer before he gets in front of the balcony, and then we'll see him actually take his helmet off and have a chat with him in a short space of time. James Hayden is with me, one of the great bike riders himself, but a man who you really enjoyed seeing Carl do all that stuff that he did in the 1990s, in particular his association with Ducati, so brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, we were speaking about it earlier. It's not just his 4 World Championships that he won with Ducati in World Superbike. Right now there, you look at the bike he's on, that's his 1990 Ducati. And what a season he had that year. He took 11 victories, finished 125 points clear of the man in second, which is why he said, I've got to ride one of my bikes with the #1 on it.
That was what was called F1 Championship for bikes, wasn't it then?
Yeah, it's before, so he won the 88, 89 and 1990 championship with that, but yes, he did, and he, yeah, very, very good around. I'm just saying, this bike here, one of his favourites, which he just dominated on, the 996 there.
Right, oh, it's lovely to see. And he's the son of a former bike racer himself, isn't he, George?
Yes, he was indeed. So it was in the blood. You heard him speaking about it. He grew up around racing. His dad was a TT racer and British Championship racer. I think he might have even done some Grand Prix as well. So it was in his blood. There's those famous eyes, the Foggy eyes. So, yeah, they certainly were piercing, intense eyes. And he's very, very well known for that. He always has his little logo. If you look at the top of his thing, Foggy and his little eyes there on the top of his leathers there. So,
yeah.
Looking nervous. I mean, what a special day for him, though.
It is.
What an incredible honour. Wonderful of, the Duke to, to appreciate and, to bring him on. We've seen some great motorcycle races over the year, and it's lovely to see, Carl celebrated in this way, and just listening to David speak there with the fans, people coming from all over the world to come and see him. And there really was such a mania is maybe too strong, but there was such a sort of devout and fanatical following of Foggy through that period whilst he was winning all that races. And his statistics talk for himself. 59 World Superbike wins, 109 podiums, 21 poles, 48 fastest laps, and the big one, the 4 World Championships.
Fantastic.
And he wasn't just
I love that on the crash helmet as well, 4-time WSB champion. As you said it, that was lovely.
Yeah, and but he wasn't just, he wasn't just good in the short circuit. He won 3 TTs, he won Northwest 200s, the Macau GP. He also won Le Mans and Bol d'Or and became World Endurance Champion one year as well with his teammates. So he was a real all-rounder, and I think that was quite incredible. There's not many racers that could do that now or again.
Actually, we saw him go up the hill a little bit earlier on when he did the full run up the hill, and we've got some images of that. He's still waiting for his moment to come up to the balcony for the celebration right now, but this was him riding up the hill, and of course plenty of people getting the opportunity to see a view from many years ago, but lovely to see it.
Yeah, he's on the 1994-996. He won the World Championship that year on that bike. Obviously, he was runner up the year before, which is why he was on the #2, but won it on that 94. And it's just that it was the first year of the iconic Ducati 916, the most exquisite of motorcycles. And as you say, it started it all off, started the legend, started that very, very long relationship with Ducati. And great to see sort of Carl back on and some of these bikes that he hasn't been on for 30 years.
Yeah, and as you pointed out when that little video we saw earlier that you've done, the collection of bikes here that they've got is absolutely fantastic. So good to see so many of the bikes, the Ducatis, that he was successful on. One of the things about him is that he was always rather famous for his speed speed in fast corners, wasn't he? That was something that really suited him.
Yeah, I mean, he was just utterly committed, devastating. He just wanted to win. He always had that out-and-out desire and aggression and hunger. And he was very good. He didn't make a lot of mistakes, so he was someone you could almost kind of reliably support on, because he generally came through, which was wonderful. And it wasn't always the case with British sportsmen, then or at any time. And it was great to see someone who kind of was dominant and believed in himself and just wore his heart on his sleeve. He would just gave it everything, and that true grit spirit, that kind of British bulldog fight, was something that everyone greatly appreciates.
Yeah, fantastically done. It was brilliantly done by him in his era. And as you were saying earlier, he could run on any kind of surface, any kind of track layout. I mean, sometimes the sort of, as you say, the Isle of Man TT suited him just as well as some of the sort of full World Superbike circuits that nowadays are used. He would be quick on just about everything, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and he was quick on just about everything. I was sort of saying earlier on, he would have got third in a 500 Grand Prix back in the day as well. Unfortunately, the bike ran out of fuel on the last lap, and that denied him that. So that was how versatile he was. He could put his hand to anything. He does a lot of off-roading. He just did a little bit of everything. That was kind of how he was grown up, and he kind of veered away from the roads obviously as his career took off, and he was able to kind of go World Superbikes and World Championship and go on to these these amazing feats. I bet he's getting hot sat there in his leathers though.
Yeah. How inspiring to you when you started motorbike racing yourself? Was he somebody that was a bit of an inspiration in the background?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you could not be sort of growing up racing in the 90s without him sort of being so. So he was an idol. I remember winning the 250 race at the World Superbikes, where he was winning the World Superbikes the first time I met him, and he was someone that you definitely sort of you judge yourself with, and you aim for, because he achieved so much.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. And there are so many fans here who are looking forward to the celebration on the balcony of Carl Fogarty. And let's go back to David, because I think, David, you're finding a few of those fans.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really hotting up down here. The crowd building in anticipation of Carl making his entrance. And I got one fan here. You got a good spot at the front?
Yes, we've got here nice and early just to make sure we see him.
How important was it for you to come along to see this?
I've watched Carl Fogarty all my life since I was 18, 19, 20. And, I was 20 years old back in 95. To see him win the World Championship was amazing.
Did you go to any of the races?
I've been to a few, like more in the UK, but not abroad.
And you made it here right at the front. Yeah. Are you hoping for an autograph?
Try, yeah, right on the shirt there.
Got the shirt ready. Well, we'll see what we can do. Yeah. You got the prime spot here in front of the house. I think it's quite impressive. Yeah. Just looking over here, I think, thanks very much for that. I hope you get your autograph. I've got somebody else here who's sacrificing this, what is it, your 30th birthday. Well done.
Times two.
What's your name?
Ginny.
Ginny, you're looking very well dressed for today. I'm enjoying this outfit. And you've got prime spot here, right in front of the rope.
Yeah, I have, yeah. He's brilliant. He's an icon.
Have you been to one of these balcony moments before?
No, this is the first for me.
And why Carl?
Brilliant rider in his time. Love watching him. Love Ducatis. What more can you say? He's a legend.
What more can you say? And what better way to spend the birthday?
Exactly.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Ginny. And happy birthday.
Thank you.
Back up to you, James Bear.
Thank you, David. That's lovely to hear from some of the fans who are gathering around that area. And as soon as he comes up the hill, of course, he'll be coming in this way to celebrate. And I'm sure there'll be a big round of applause for Carl as he heads into that little area there. What a superb star he has been. He started with Ducati from 1993. Before that, he'd actually made his debut with Tuxworth Honda. And that 1993 season, he was a bit unlucky, actually, because I gather he won 11 races that year. But he did miss out on the 93 title to Scott Russell that 93 year. It got better the year after, though.
Yeah, it did indeed. Yeah, it was a very, very close run thing, and they became real arch rivals and kind of arch enemies. They kind of love to hate each other. Carl would be his typical self. He got a pet pig, and he'd name it after his rivals, and he just it was all part of the head games as well. And also it seemed to be in some ways kind of almost in a less sort of PR type way. They were kind of you know, some of those arch rivalries seem to blossom a little bit more than they kind of do now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do understand that. It was a period when everybody was really putting it down, and nowadays, perhaps in the world of social media, it's a little harder to be quite as hefty as that. You get more criticism sometimes, don't you? But yeah, no, it was a great period, and Carl Fogarty so dominant in that period with Ducati and taking those 4 titles. Brilliant stuff by him. And we shall see him heading up the hill in just a moment. There's obviously a little bit of a delay because they want to get him up there to do the celebration, and we will be hearing from him as well. Grace will be having a chat with him once he gets to the top. So hopefully he's just being informed now for the reasons for the delay, but hopefully.
Yeah, and also the other awards he's got, you know, Carl, the MBE, which is a wonderful sort of award. He ran the reality TV show, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Yeah, that was it. That was good to do that, wasn't it? To win that in 2014, yeah.
Yeah, which was quite amazing. To be honest, it's not my sort of thing, so I haven't kind of watched it. But amazing thing again that, you know, he just sort of ticks off these little things. Obviously, he went on to run his, you know, the Patronus team that I rode for a couple of years. You know, when he first sort of came out, you know, so he ran that, and yeah, so it was. Yeah, he's had his, you know, he's done a lot of things over the year, Carl, and as you can see from the, you know, the crowd that are starting to gather for him, and people coming from all over the world, you know, he still means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the bike like to ride? I mean, have you ridden one of these?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually rode that the 996. That's the 99. I raced the 2000 version of that motorcycle, and it was wonderful.
Okay.
It was just.
What's so good about it?
Favourite bikes. I mean, at the time, they were thousands. You were racing 750s, so they had that little bit of torque, that little bit of punch. The way the V-twin fired, it seemed to kind of let the tyre snuggle into the tarmac a bit, so it was a bit. We had a little bit more sort of mechanical grip. It wouldn't slide quite as easy. It just was a very easy. I got on the day I got on the first test. I came in. I went, "You cheated!" I was like, "I can't believe I've been racing against one of these for 3 or 4 years." But they weren't, of course. That was the rules.
Yeah.
But it was just compared to the GSXR 750 I've been riding. It was a step on. It was
that's fascinating.
Was such a lovely thing to ride, and in one way I never wanted to get off it. You know, it was a great thing, and we listened to it far up. They're getting close now. As we say, this is his 99 World Championship winning bike. Took 11 victories on this very bike here, and he wanted to ride into the house on one of his bikes with a #1. And here he comes, the great man himself, Carl Fogarty.
Oh, it's lovely to see, and getting him back on the bike and ready to head up the hill. Here we are. We've got the onboard camera as well, so please thoroughly enjoy seeing the superstar as he is ready to head back up the hill, but not the full way up the hill, just halfway up the hill this time for the celebration time where his fans are waiting and they're looking forward to him bursting into their seat in just a few moments' time. He's waiting for the marshals to tell him that it is clear to go, and then the Ducati will launch him once again, which he did so many times, to take those titles.
Yeah, off he goes. Maybe a little wheelie. Yeah, here he comes. Then he's got that little right-hander, so he's going to be a bit careful. He's got some, you know, what are they? It looks like they're just sort of lightly cut road tyres. But lovely to hear the 996, the V-twin as he comes round, and then he comes in onto the gravel.
Yeah, and past the fans. So this is where they're all gathering. And look, he's going to do a little bit of a fun display here. Absolutely for everybody, and I'm sure everybody's just absorbing this, taking it to the most. Lots of applause all around. How long will those tyres last?
Just long enough.
Yeah, gets him in. And there we are, getting a big round of applause as he comes in.
Yeah, so they're lovely to see him coming in there, and the fans getting a lovely reception.
Yeah, really good. Celebrated his 60th birthday just earlier this month. And now he is being celebrated here at Goodwood at the Festival of Speed. making his way into the balcony. It's great when you're on a bike, you can just go straight in.
Yeah.
Normally, if you're driving a car, you have to park outside.
And I'm sure no matter how decent a rider you are, there's probably always a little bit of nerves just getting up and in and everything going to plan and what have you. But he's done it beautifully, as you'd expect.
Yeah, absolutely. And so in a few moments' time, we will see him step up onto the balcony, come back out and be able to wave to the fans down here. But it is lovely to be able to celebrate a British motorbike rider who has had such success in the world of world superbikes, working with Ducati for so many years. He was with that type of bike for many, many years. It developed, of course, over the years. But to take the titles in the... Oh, look at this. That's lovely. That's how to celebrate, and he's getting the fans to enjoy it as well. Yay! It's like winning all over again, isn't it?
Yeah, Oasis in the background as well. The man for Blackburn. He's sprayed a bit of champagne this time, that's for sure.
He did actually leave Ducati. He went back to Tuxworth with Honda in 1996, but he returned to Ducati in 97, and he was second in the title. Then, after having taken 2 titles, then he won his next 2 titles with Ducati again. So his relationship with Ducati was always the one that worked. It never quite worked with the others.
No, it was special. He was kind of unlucky that year, actually, that 97 year. You know, he moved. John Kaczynski took his ride at Honda. He took John Kaczynski's ride at Ducati, and then Kaczynski won the championship on the Honda, and then he won it the year later on the Ducati. But as you say, he just seemed to have a kind of him and the Ducati. They worked together.
Yeah.
They were just synonymous with each other. Whatever it was,
It's funny how you find that in all forms of motorsport, whether it's on 2 wheels or 4 wheels. You sometimes find drivers or riders with particular companies that it just really gels and works incredibly well. When they move to another team, it doesn't always come together in the same way.
Yeah. And I think some of that could be personnel, some of that could be there's his wife and Michaela there, and his daughters as well. So some of his grandkids. So yeah, lovely to see family Fogarty up there.
That is lovely to see, you're right. It's great to see the family support. What a special moment this is for them, isn't it? You know, at such an event, this Goodwood Festival of Speed, where we celebrate so many top people. Derek Bell was up there yesterday. But the fact that Carl Fogarty is being able to enjoy this with his family, with his supporters, with the fans who absolutely adored, as we've heard, watching him competing so competitively, so effectively in the 1990s. For some people, it would have been how they became passionate about motorbike racing.
Well, a lot of people, he brought in being that great success, doing what he's done, and he was someone to look at, someone to live up to, and he encouraged a great number of people to really love motorcycles.
Yeah, wonderful to see. And in a few moments' time, we will be seeing him up there on the balcony with his family, and we will be celebrating that in just a moment. And in fact, we're going to hear from him now. Let's go over to Grace.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us in the continued celebrations here at Goodwood House, as we now look to a man who put Britain firmly at the forefront of superbike racing during the 90s, when he took his 4 World Superbike titles, but ultimately captured the hearts of sport bike lovers across the globe and continues to do so. He is a legend in the 2-wheeled world. Please welcome to the balcony, Carl Fogarty!
Thank you. Oh, I'm getting all emotional.
Oh, Carl. Now, that is one way to make an entrance. It is our pleasure to see you here at the Festival of Speed. Now, I've firstly got to ask you, what does it feel like to be acquainted with that beautiful Ducati 996 30 years after taking that special 2nd World Superbike title? How does this feel?
It felt like as well 30 years when I rode the bike. I wasn't too sure I was going to go, but yeah, we got it off the line, and I was just thinking, try and do a burnout, but try not to mess it up, and it kind of went a bit sideways at one point, and I kept it going, and thankfully we're still here in one piece. So yeah, it feels great. It feels like Brands Hatch all those years ago. All these thousands of fans coming out, and it's great to see you all. Thank you.
Well, you did a very fine job of it, and the champagne topped it off there. But your racing career, much of the success has been on board a Ducati. So what is it about the Italian brand that you gel with so much?
It just suits my style as a rider. The bike, the whole package, the company, it's like a family kind of environment, and yeah, the two go together, Foggy and Ducati and Foggy, and yeah, I couldn't have wished for a better manufacturer to have success on the bike. Did what I wanted it to. It enabled me to ride a bike how I wanted to ride a bike. It carried a lot of corner speed, and to win 4 World Superbike titles. It should have been 6, but 4's all right.
Definitely. Well, just take us back to that 1995 season, which was an exemplary display of dominance in World Championship sport. What were some of the factors that you would credit as your success at that time?
I think it was the second year of the bike, the 916. It came out in '94, and we had kind of a few teething little problems with it. And in '95, it was the most perfect bike I've ever rode. It was just a pleasure to ride. I've always said to this day, it's the best bike I've ever ridden in '95. And yeah, going back to the summer of '95, the weather seemed like it is today. It was red hot, and I remember opening the curtains at Brands Hatch at about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. The grandstand was full, and it was the first time we'd seen crowds back at the British sort of races since the days of Barry Sheen in the late '70s. And it was the most perfect day for me. I won both races, a new lap record, and pretty much clinched my second World Championship. It was, let's start to believe it was 30 years ago.
It's just incredible, Carl. And I think many people knew you were destined for glory after that, because you've shown dedication in many disciplines, whether it be motocross, road racing at the Isle of Man, short circuit, endurance racing. What is it about the two-wheeled sport that you love so much and keeps your passion alive for it?
Just winning. That's it. Just I was born on the 1st of July, so I was born on the 1st, and just wanted to win. I was kind of brought up with a TT with my dad racing, and kind of was a family holiday as a kid, and so I spent every year going to the Isle of Man TT, getting 2 weeks off school, which is great because I hated school. Yeah, I wanted to win the TT, won that. I held the lap record for 7 years, and then wanted to be a world champion. And I just had that motivation, that drive, that determinedness, and you know, that little bit of luck along the way, and we achieved it.
Yeah, and your devotion to the sport, though, created a sensation, Foggy mania, that drew those thousands of crowds to watch the racing. Do you have certain memories or milestones that you replay from that euphoric time?
It was just a great time. It was like the golden era of Superbike, as they say, and there was a lot of big characters around, big personalities, big teams, the massive crowds, and I just got the memories from Assen, where 60,000 Brits came over, Donington, 70,000, and at Brands Hatch, 120,000 there. So it's, I mean, they were real special times. It was probably not the same now. The crowds don't seem to come to the World Superbike anymore. It's not like it was back in my day. But that's obviously because I'm not racing anymore. But you know,
of course,
can't have everything.
But I guess that dominance means it could be argued that that was the pinnacle of your career. Do you see it as that, or when would be the pinnacle for you?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah. At the end of 1999, I won for the 4th time, and obviously my career was cut short in 2000. But yeah, I think by the end of 99, I was, I guess, you know, like a household name, and my dominance was sort of seen by sort of millions around the world. And yeah, it was happy days. It's a long distance memory for me now, those days, but I miss them. It's on days like this when you get to see all the fans again, it makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, and we're not seeing you leave the sport anytime soon, because you've announced earlier this year that you're going to be a team principal of a new British Superbike team in 2026. You must be excited to get stuck into that.
Yeah, looking forward to it, being back on the grid again, first time in sort of 20 years. Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do in the background, sort of sorting the bikes out with Ducati, staff, workshops, and do a bit of testing. And yeah, there's a lot of work to do, but I'm really looking forward to being back on the grid again, and hopefully winning some more races. The team sort of well, team principles, you say. I had to Google the word principle, see what it meant.
It sounds good.
It said
Go with
most
that.
important person of a group or at work. I thought, that's all right. That sounds like me.
Yeah, take that then.
I'll take that.
Well, I'm sure Carl will watch this space and keep posted on that, and I'm sure you're keen to get back on that Ducati. But before we let you go, just a word on what this moment and celebration at the prestigious Festival of Speed means to you personally, with your family here, and to be representing the two-wheeled community.
Yeah, it means a lot. I get a bit emotional again. Yeah, it's...
Give him a cheer, everyone. This is what it means to this man. It's just incredible, Carl. Take it in. What does it mean to you personally, if you can use some words?
Great. I just want to thank His Grace, Lord March, and all the staff who've organised this event for us. Couldn't have done it without him, obviously. And for him to put this moment on for me, I really thank him from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot to me, and see all you fans out here, it means a lot. And tell my family here as well, it means everything. And yeah, I'm going to have a few tears now. Cheers, thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Well, it certainly is a remarkable way to remember a remarkable career. For one last time, please give it up for the dominant force that is Carl Fogarty.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
So absolutely wonderful to hear from Carl Fogarty, James, wasn't it? And the emotion that we saw there was wonderful too.
Yeah, you didn't often see a lot of emotion out of Carl, apart from that hunger to win. So lovely how much that touched him, and how much it meant to him. You know, sort of coming back, and almost sometimes with that length of time, there's the water that's gone under the bridge, you almost enjoy it and appreciate it more. So really great to see.
Yeah, no, I think that was superb, a wonderful celebration. Lovely to hear from him, and it's obviously a very, very special day. And it's so lovely here at Goodwood, at the Festival of Speed, that these sort of events take place and can celebrate somebody's tremendous success. Might have been a while ago, 30 years ago, since he won that 1995 title, but you can just see how much he's enjoying it, how much he's loving it, and how the family are thoroughly enjoying being involved. Wonderful to see.